Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Luke Bell with the Sideline Scoop. So the Packers have finally started training camp. It's been so long since, people have actually been on the football field. Everyone's been stuck inside, no normal things as usual. But now we actually finally have some news. The Packers came on, on Saturday, started playing some football. So we have some stories that came out of there, basically some things that people who were there watching saw. And so I'm sort of going to break down basically some of those things in this video. Some things having to do with the offensive line, some receivers, Dillons Legs. Stay for that. You don't want to miss those. It's pretty crazy, honestly. But basically, that's what I'm going to break down in today's video. What's going on, everybody? So we finally have some news, and so I'm going to start it off with some offensive line news. So basically, most of you guys know the left side of the offensive line is pretty much set in stone, but the right side is a little bit more, I guess, in question, you could say. And so when we take a look at sort of what happened on Saturday, what's his name? Lane Taylor started out at right guard, I guess when they started playing, and Billy Turner was starting out at right tackle. And then a little bit in, Billy Turner was moved to right guard, and Rick Wagner was brought into right tackle. And so it sort of seems that those three guys are going to be competing for those two spots right there. And LaFleur basically said they're going to be shuffling around each other, just moving them in and out, moving them in and out. To basically see the best combination for this Packers offense. So that's sort of going to be a competition I think that we're going to watch. Competition's always good. It makes people better, makes people work harder. If they sort of are given it without, any competition, maybe they don't have to work as hard to get it. So basically I think that's going to be a fun thing to watch and sort of see who ends up starting on the offensive line this season. And it's also good considering there are three guys who are pretty solid. If any of those guys ever get injured, we have another guy who is pretty much ready to come in and play, ready to come in and just sort of get going. And that's what Aaron Rodgers was talking about. He's basically saying it's great to have three, offensive linemen on that side who are all, have experience, know what to do. And so that's going to be a good thing for this Packers offense. And then the next bit of news that I sort of want to talk about in this video has to do with Jordan Love. Of course, Jordan Love has been the talk of this entire, offseason, the draft. Everyone knows what happened basically. But now Jordan Love had his first practice the other day, as did every single other Packers player. But basically, Matt LaFleur said he's a lot to clean up. And I think that's sort of to be expected considering he is a young guy. A guy who's maybe not very polished at this point. Considering he's, just sort of came out of college, had lots of problems with interceptions at the college level. And I think that's why the Packers brought him in, because of course they think that they can develop him over the next couple of years for, whenever the time is that Aaron Rodgers might either, go to a different team, whatever happens, you don't really know. But they're basically going to be working on building up Jordan Love. So I think it's to be expected that, at the beginning of training camp in his first year, he has a lot to clean up, a lot to work on. That's sort of the point of drafting him, because they sort of want to, develop him, teach him alongside Aaron Rodgers. So I think that was sort of expected. But he also did have a few good plays, had a nice touchdown pass to Jake Kumro. So, I guess that's some positive news. But basically, that's sort of what I want to touch on with Jordan Love. And another thing to watch is going to see, if Jordan Love is going to be the backup right away, because, of course, we have Tim Boyle still. And so the fact that he's, has some more experience on the Packers, sort of knows what's going on there. Maybe he could start out as a backup quarterback. So that'll be something to watch. See if Jordan Love is, good enough to be the backup right away, or if he's going to have to sort of work towards that. So that'll be fun to watch. And then the third thing I sort of want to touch on in this video is Dillons Legs. So take a look at this. So I honestly had no clue he looked this good. Those legs look like they could run over any NFL player. I know that if I was an NFL player, I would never want to go low, go tackle that guy. And so I think this is good to see. The fact that Dillon, is a massive guy, 250 pounds. I know lots of people have compared him to Eddie Lacy, sort of a bigger guy, but honestly, he looks stronger than Eddie Lacy. I've never seen anyone who looks quite like that at the running back position, honestly. And Matt LaFleur basically said the same thing. He said he's never seen a running back built just like A.J. Dillon is built. And so I think that A.J. Dillon could come in and take Jamal Williams' spot. That'll be interesting to see if that happens. Of course, we still have Aaron Jones. It's his last year of his contract. So honestly, this year, I'm honestly wondering now if the Packers will keep Aaron Jones after this season, because depending on how well he does, we'll have to pay him a ton of money, and they have some other guys that need to sign as well. So honestly, depending on how good A.J. Dillon is, maybe after this year the Packers will let Aaron Jones go. Maybe they won't. Maybe they decide they'll want to sign him as well. But I think now the Packers are basically stacked at the running back position. A.J. Dillon just looks like, he looks like he could be a great running back in the future. And so, this is some good news to see. Maybe that doesn't translate to him being insanely good in the field, but I think it does. I think if you're built like that and you can basically run over people, especially in Lambeau Field in the cold, who's going to want to tackle that guy? No one. Not a single person. If you do want to tackle him, I don't know what's wrong with you. So yeah. And then Also, we have Reggie Begelton. I sort of talked about him in a video earlier in this offseason, this summer, I guess, but he's a guy who I think is exciting to watch. And, you know, some news came out that basically he had some solid plays to start off on Saturday. He had really good plays, and it looks like he could, you know, come in and be a starter on this Packers team. I think that's exciting to see, considering, you know, he was in the Canadian League, and I think lots of people sort of questioned people who come from the Canadian League just because the talent isn't as good as the NFL. So even if you look good playing in Canada, you could be pretty bad in the NFL. But it seems to be that Reggie Begelton is actually, you know, NFL good. He's not just Canadian Football League good. So that'll be good to see. And, you know, of course, we have Devontae Adams, Allen Lazard, Valdez-Scantling, some of these other guys. And so I don't know where Begelton will sort of fit in. But, you know, hopefully he can be a solid addition. You know, I know lots of people have, you know, worry about the wide receivers in the offseason, but I think we're pretty set with Devontae and Allen Lazard. And if Begelton can prove to be a solid option, you know, that would be awesome as well. So those are basically the things I wanted to touch on from the training camp that sort of started the past few days. And I'm going to keep putting out some more videos regarding sort of more news and things that come out. So if you want to see some of that, be up to date on all things Packers, make sure you subscribe to the channel down below. I also put out fantasy football content, so if you guys are starting up your draft soon, make sure you go through my channel and see if there's any fantasy football videos that could, you know, help you out this season. So I'm sort of switching up between fantasy football and Green Bay Packers. So, you know, if you're here for just one of those videos, just stay around, because I sort of just mix and match, switch them up for, you know, just whatever I think is good for that day. So that's basically going to be all for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys on the next video.